Alright you guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're doing a video on the scooter again. Now last time we did a video on the scooter, we ended up doing attempted to do the ankle biter kit on it. The ankle biter kit that I ended up getting for it did not fit, so I ended up sending that one back to the seller, and I ended up going with the TRS kit, which is right here. And then this is the clutch bell from the last one, which is an SSPG unit. I just like the setup on it because it's going to be more of a visual thing. I already have the NCY variator kit in there, so if I already have the NCY variator and drive face, it's gonna, right now it's on stock clutch bell, so I'm gonna switch it out for the SSPG one. It might grab a little bit better, but overall it's mainly for looks more than anything. So I'm gonna go ahead, get this cover popped off. I'll give you a quick rundown on how to remove the Kickstarter too, because when you run these ankle biter kits on these GY6 motors, you have to delete the Kickstarter most times. I think I've seen one ankle biter kit that actually incorporates the Kickstarter into it, and I'll even link that down below too. Now this is going to mainly pertain if you have the 150 variant, which is the common one here, which is going to be the 157 QMJ motor. If you don't know how to find your motor number, this is going to be driver's side of your scoot. Go down here by this vent, go down, and it's going to be right there stamped on the side of the block. As you can see on the top of it, it says 157 QMJ. That's going to be how you know how to get most of your parts. Same thing with like the 171 kits and all that good stuff, or if you want to go bigger than a 171. But in the last video that was a fail, so I ended up just doing the R1 fender install, which looks good. I did have to do a little bit of clearancing on it, but we do have some space down there. As you can see, I did roast off the tires a little bit to try to give it a little bit more clearance, and like I said, I do want to kind of bend that bracket, that way it kind of like contours with the tire itself. But overall it does look good. Now keep in mind, this fender setup is set up for a wide with a fat tire. So if you have a Gen 5 like I do, it will sit a little offset, but it's not the fender that's offset, it's the wheel itself. So the wheel itself is kind of sucked in. So obviously you can tell if it was a wider wheel, it would encompass more of the fender more, not just this. But let's get into the reason we're here for this video. I'm going to go ahead and first take off all the 8mm around it. So there's going to be a bunch up here, a bunch running down the bottom. Now with the Gen 5 maddog, you're going to have this license plate bracket on it, and that's going to be fastened in with a 10 here and a 10 here. So 8mm all the way around, except for this bracket, which is going to be a 10 and a 10. If you have the intake box on or whatever you're running, you're going to have to take that off as well. I'm already swapped out of all that. I just have to loosen, which is going to come off, or we'll get into that. But don't mind that last part, because like I said, it really doesn't really pertain to any of this. I'm going to open the box from TRS and see what TRS sent us here. Alright, so I popped this box open quick, take off this covering, see how TRS got us set up this time. So I did end up ordering the gloss black unit, so it's going to be gloss black, which if you didn't know, TRS is the ruck shop. Go ahead and open this up for you guys. So this is going to be the price on this puppy, $219, and then that's going to be what it is. It's going to be powder coated black with the center removed. But yep, $220 if you want to get the TRS unit shipped to your door. But let's check it out. I'm going to unwrap all this, kind of like set it up so it's more organized so you can see what we have going on. Alright, so I got it all unwrapped for you guys. So from TRS, they're going to send you the backing plate, which is going to mount directly up against the engine case. It's going to come with the spacers and then the screws for it. And then obviously the outer ring, which is going to have, this is going to be the show off piece. So this will be like the backing, so it kind of covers up the actual inside of the CVT case. And then it'll show just the clutch bell on the back side and the variator faceplate on this side, and then it's just going to be fastened down with the 4 screws. So this will be the main reinforcement that'll reinforce the block, and then this will be basically the beauty piece that shows you, you know, it's all open, it looks cool, all that. But besides that, I'm gonna rip all this stuff off, pop this OEM cover off, and then give you guys a quick breakdown on how to remove the kickstart. Okay, and just like that, that cover's off. I decided to keep this on there. This is gonna be a whole new ordeal to mount this to this. So what I ended up coming up with as a plan, so with these OEM covers, they have a little spacer in that bottom hole. If my camera will focus, down there, it's basically a little spacer in there. I'm gonna end up taking that spacer and this smaller screw and running it right here. That'll give me enough space that it'll still sit back here, but not interfere with the setup. Now, once you get those screws removed, you're gonna have the one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, and there. You'll have another one down here, 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 and then this front one right here. Keep in mind that when you do this, there's going to be a dowel pin right here, and there's going to be another one set back here. You will have to remove those pins because this will not fit on there if those pins are in the way. It's obviously going to set it out. So you'll have to remove those pins. Next up, what you're going to have to do, if you're going to end up doing it this way, I should be able to do this really quick. Just do a quick swap. I'm going to go ahead and zip this 17mm nut off. I highly recommend an impact gun because it makes it super easy, but I mean you can do it without one. You just have to get the puller tool that basically stabilizes it so you can hold it in place. But like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and zip it off quick and pop this new one on. So we'll go from that to, we're going to go from that to that. Definitely a better look, but I'm going to go ahead, zip this off and swap them out quick, and bam, there you go. New clutch bell. I'm gonna go ahead now. You can remove all this stuff if you want to. I'm gonna go ahead. Well, I'm gonna have to remove at least the front one to go, the variator to go ahead and get the cover on, because the belt's gonna have to be in front of all of it. So I'm gonna go ahead, zip that off quick, and start putting this cover on, and then I'll show you the bolt orientation because there is different length bolts for it. But I'm gonna go ahead, pop that off quick, and then go from there. Okay, so now that I got the variator out of the way, this one should be good to stay there as long as the belt's off of it. What's going to end up happening here is you're going to have your Kickstarter assembly in here. This one is going to be able to just freely pull out. You're just going to have to go ahead and pull on it. This back one, so this one's going to come off first. It's going to be fastened down right here with the nut. Mine was an 8mm, but same ordeal. Take that setup out, and then you can go ahead and like kind of basically shake it a little bit, and it'll pop it out. There's a little bushing in there, so if it does stick in there, you're going to have to get that out of there. Same thing with this one, but that's all you got to do is basically grab onto it, basically shake it up and down, maybe left or right a little bit, basically loosen it up if it is stuck in there, and then go ahead and pop it out. Keep in mind that when you go to do this, you have to have a good starter. So whether it's a new OEM one or your 171 and you have an upgraded starter, either one, you're going to have a good starter and a good battery, because it's going to suck if you go to do this and then it dies, because there's no backup plan. It's electric start or nothing. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set up this back plate onto it, go ahead and start getting the screws fastened down, and then we'll jump into the next spot. Okay, so I got this plate mocked up right now. It's only held in by that bolt and that bolt. This one is not going to stay there. I'm just using it as a holding piece just to show you guys. So when you put this on, this fang is going to sit like this. Okay, so you'll still have access to this bottom drain hole or fill plug for the gear oil, but it's going to sit just like this. So obviously the last one definitely was not the right one, even though it said it was this exact kit. But yeah, so what we're going to end up doing here, these are T30 screws. Well, at least I'm using a T30 bit on them. It is a T30 for the fitment, even though they're hexes. All you're going to do is you're going to put in, it's going to be like this. You're going to use the small ones with a washer and preferably some Loctite, probably blue Loctite on it. And you're going to put in the middle ones first. So you leave the outside two, so these two and these two you're going to leave out, which the back ones are probably going to be the longer bolts, and the front ones are going to be the medium longer bolts, if you understand what I'm saying, because this is how many, you get 3 different types of bolts. The small ones, which there's going to be 6 of, 2 of the medium-sized ones and then 2 of the long ones, and they also get washers as well. But I'm going to go ahead, fasten this main plate on, and then we'll get into the spacers for it. Alright, now once you get this backing cover on with these 6 bolts, you can go ahead and actually tighten them down. I ran all of them in by hand first, so I had some wiggle room so I can make sure all the holes lined up, which I needed it for this one anyways, so I'm glad I kept them loose and I didn't tighten them right away. Once all of them are in, go ahead and tighten them down. Next up, you're going to have to, once this plate's on, you're going to want to put your variator on, because once that front cover's on, it's going to be almost impossible to mess with that to get that to go back in, because now it's recessed and you can't get behind it to hold it together, because when you put these in, the backs try to separate. So when you try to take them out, that back piece tries to fall off all the time. So what I would recommend doing is when you go to put it on, if you can get it on tight, basically take it, go ahead and slide it on, and if you can lean the bike forward, that helps. That way it keeps the weight inside the variator in here. That way you can pop it on quick and then get the variator on, so when it's sitting back up, it doesn't try to float forward and out and then have everything fall out on the inside, which sucks because then you have to take this cover off. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead, get this variator back on, put this belt back on, and then we can move into the last piece, which is going to be the cover, or the beauty ring, as I call it. Alright, and just like that, we got that back in. I did have to end up holding the variator together with my foot while I deep pressed this, popped the belt in, and then wrapped it around. Now keep in mind, when you put this drive face back on, you want to have some slack in here in the belt. That way the drive face can sit all the way on it, because there has been times where people have put these things on, the splines aren't lined out correctly, and they go and hit it, and then it basically destroys those splines, and that would not be a fun time, because that's a crank ordeal, not anything simple. But as you can see, we're slowly getting there. I'm going to go ahead and get the spacers out a while so I can show you guys the last step. Alright, as you can see, they have these little spacers, so obviously each one is going to get a stand. So you get these little spacer stands in here, and then you're going to have to match it up with the bolts. So these 2 smaller ones are going to end up going in the front, 2 longer ones are going to end up going in the back. Alright, and then the way it's going to be situated back here is, it should be situated like this. So it'll end up kind of like matching the back, if you can see what's going on right there. In that top right corner, it's matching up. But that's how it's going to be going on. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing mocked up so you guys can see what I'm talking about, and then I'll go ahead, tighten them down, and we'll go from there. And as you can see, I have it on here. It is still loose, like I said. I'm just have it on here to show you guys. So these are the 2 medium-sized bolts up front, and we got the 2 longer ones in the back. Normally these back ones are longer anyways, like this is one of the back ones. As you can see, normally they're longer. But yeah, you want the 2 medium ones up front because that drives into the engine case. Meanwhile, these bottom ones run into the CVT. So this one's already longer. This one's like a medium length one. So the only reason it looks extra long compared to what comes out of it is because, well, now it has a spacer involved with it and it doesn't just go straight into it. And this spacing is definitely further apart than it would be on the back of this cover. But I'm going to go ahead, tighten these things down, and we're going to be pretty much done, guys. And there you go, all tightened up. It looks great. Got the NCY variator and drive face here. We got the SSPG clutch bell along with the uni filter and the NCY shock and R1 fender. And it's looking good, guys. But yep, that's all it takes to do that. Now obviously, like I said, I'm going to end up messing with this because I might end up going with a different license plate bracket. But overall, if you guys do have a Gen 5 and you want to retain this OEM bracket, you can go ahead and literally pop that one out that fastens to the CVT case, and it will thread into that top hole. It's just not going to have a bottom hole to thread into because it's not close enough to the opening there that usually has a spacer in it for the fender. So you're going to have to utilize this hole. But they do make universal brackets where you can fasten it wherever you want. But besides that, that's going to be it. So hopefully you guys liked it. And this will go for all the 157 QMJ motors for the long cases. But yeah, Thanks for watching, guys. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them down in the comments below. And like always, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel for more videos on the scooter stuff. But besides that, I'm out, guys. It's the weekend. Stay safe from that Canada wildfire, because I'm in Pennsylvania, so yes, we see it too. If you guys can't tell, it's a little semi-foggy here. You can really tell out back. Definitely tell it's a little foggy out there, but yeah. Besides that, thanks for watching, guys. And like always, if you can, share the content. We're growing the channel slowly. We're about to be at 5,200 subscribers, and we're gonna keep going and going and going. End goal for this, I think I'm gonna end up is staying 171. Obviously, I'm gonna go all black with it. And then obviously, if you've watched the channel, you know the stories on all the other cars. So yeah. Like always, thanks for watching, guys. And I will post all the links for this stuff in the description. Peace. Be safe.